Hello YouTube, Robin Hood Bricks here, and today we're going to be expanding the harbour of my city, Brick Nottingham. So today I'm going to be concentrating on the next stage of my harbour, and what I'm intending to do is populate the entire back row of base plates there and the ones wrapping around the side here. That will give me a very large central space with which to have ships and boats and sea traffic and so on. Eventually I'm also going to have some piers coming in from the left side. This is only one of two tables that I'm going to have. The second table is going to be more behind the camera, so this is going to be pushed up against the wall, so everything's going to be a lot bigger than this. This is just doing one row at a time, really. Now the main focus of this area is to have some of the larger structures like cranes and conveyors and so on that are going to be mounted on the shoreline, and also to have the start of one pier and this being a slip ramp into the water. Now normally you would have to build up either ramps to these because they're raised by 2 brick height, but what I want to do is actually have it being a bit more seamless. So I'm intending for this back row of grey base plates to be raised by 2 brick height, so they're actually very level with this surface here. So a vehicle would be able to drive seamlessly from the road base plate either down the slip ramp or along this first pier on the right. So as a result, I'm going to be using on the ground level some crossroad base plates, just because we all have too many of these from having to buy them historically with straight road plates. I know now it's a bit better because they come with corners, but nonetheless, too late. I've already got too many of those. So I'm going to actually have those underneath all these grey base plates, and they are going to be a second layer supported by bricks between the two, so we can achieve that level 2 bricks higher than the base plates. This will also mean we've got a lovely quayside differential in height around 2 more sides, meaning that the boats do appear lower in the water than they would if they were just done as I've mocked up these base plates as they are. Now the sea level is about 5 bricks, or 6 bricks actually, lower than my normal level, ground level, which is got the train lines on. So in order to bridge the gap, so to speak, between that level and this level, I'm going to have a wall which will be tall enough that it sort of acts as a wall whether you're on a minifigure on this level or on the level below. What I haven't done is tried to have a road that's going to link the higher area directly with this lower area, because it would just take up far too much room, and I'm trying to get as much density as I can in my city. So I've solved that problem by having this road going off into the distance, which will obviously link up with the rest of the city somewhere else outside of the Lego room, but I don't have to have a direct link from this lower level to this upper level, which would then have loads of issues with the curved rail track and all the rest of it. So I think that's a lot better. So I've been rearranging these already off camera just to get the best combination, and I think this is it. So as I said, it will all come a lot further this way in due course, but as a back row I'm going to have a bit more water, and then I'm using this as a big sort of private port loading area for lorries and so on. Then the road starts and goes off into the distance, and we've got the slip road and one of several piers. So that's the plan. Now I'm going to probably take all this down to my building desk so it's a bit easier to piece together, and then I'm going to have to bring it up in pieces or when I've got a bit further, but I think it'll be a bit easier than working in situ on this table. Right, let's get going. So here we are with the foundation level completed. We've got the down ramp and the beginning of the side pier in position, and the rest of it is using the relatively useless crossroad base plates to support this network of large pieces that I've been buying over recent weeks as bricklink orders and so on, for as cheaply as possible. And what that network will do is provide support for further base plates that will be then a continuous raised level with the ground level of the piers. So that'll look something like this. And you can see that these are well supported, and they'll be even more firmly clamped in position when I've got buildings on them. They'll be supported from the top as well. They'll have some edging plates. But you can see already that's forming what looks like a very seamless join here, and a seamless join all the way along here with this quayside edge. And just quickly, here's the same view from a lower angle. So you can see that 2 brick height change with some of the texture all along here. You've also got the natural texture of the pier pieces in the old grey colour. I've been careful to use old grey plates to join those together so the colour's uninterrupted. You can also see that kind of speed bump there. Looking good. But the main point of doing all this is to gain this 2 brick height advantage, which A, makes the whole thing look much more interesting, but B, also means that when a ship is docked up against this side here, it will be lower down, which is much more realistic, with the water being lower than the pavement or sidewalk level. So I haven't finished this at all yet. I'm going to fill in lots more detail. I've put in, as you can see, a ramp, a little ramp, so a car would go over that and would notice it, kind of a warning ramp, and a warning line there, both of which can be obviously accessed from the road. And I've deliberately left a gap here at the back, because what I want to do there is incorporate this hideout. Right, so now that these are all nice and firmly supported, I really can push that quite hard, and it's not bowing at any point. It's used quite a lot of bricks, but I think it's worth it. Great, let's keep going. So as you can see here, I've incorporated set 60131 Crook's Island with the end of the quayside. I've separated the container section from the rest of it because I've had to raise the middle building and pier by 1 brick, both at the front here and in the building itself, and then I've raised the rock element that makes up part of the wall of the building by 2 bricks and 1 plate, so it goes on top of the raised area. It gives the impression of this natural sort of blend between the scenery and the quayside. I think it gives it a nice sort of bookend, bearing in mind here will be the steep side of the El Dorado fortress that we saw in the last video. I've deliberately kept the action feature because I think a Lego city should have action features. I'm not one of these people who goes for 100% realism, so that still works. And the Crook lady on her jet ski can be fired out when you want to. It's not too intrusive, it's sort of camouflaged in. I've also done a little diorama. We've got some robbers here. You can see they've got their safe that they've stolen visible in the doorway if you peer through. Got one guy with his mask still on, and maybe they broke out their friend who's in handcuffs, and one of them's got a welding torch and they're cutting through that. So there's a little scene that I quite like the look of. And this little setup perfectly and seamlessly links in with the side of the quay itself. I've also added a little sign, Carl's Cargo, just on a modified brick there, just to give the extra look of the cover that this secret hideout is hiding underneath. I've also put a rat on the roof just because we're near a quayside. Right, so I'm really happy with that. So now for the next phase. Okay, so there's the next stage done. What I've done is I've incorporated all the buildings from the 4645 Harbour set into the near side of the quay. I've had to extend it so it's a lot longer, but we've got the blue crane with play function on the back for the winch and a good grabbing crane arm. Also got the plane function on the conveyor, dropping the cargo into the transport lorry or truck. It's a really good simple vehicle there, really like that one. I've adjusted it so the driver is on the right side of the cab, because in the UK we drive on the left, so the driver is on the right, and he's got his yellow mug which is obviously full of tea, just like mine. Other things I've added are this yellow barrier all the way around. It's on some light bluish grey 2 wide plates, and that's what holds together the wall of the structure of the quayside that was all that framework that we saw earlier on to the actual base plates. So that's all the way along. I've also added a barrier so we can have that open or closed to allow people onto the pier, and there's a little traffic light there but facing the traffic. I've also added for the entire length this wall which has ivy growing up it and a sign and some lights lighting up the wall. This is the city sign that comes with the set 4645. I've got another one from a Bricklink order. It's got a picture of the crane on it there, and I've just added that there as well. Now what I haven't done is put light bluish grey tiles on any of these areas to act as pavement or sidewalk. I don't think this area would be necessarily looking as smart as a city centre and therefore not paved. So I think I'm going to leave this with bare studs so it looks a bit more rough and a bit more unkempt. Now obviously along this back wall here I'm going to add many more buildings, and along that side as well, just so when I've added a lot more cargo pieces as well, this whole area is absolutely full of good stuff. Now you may also notice this overhang of a base plate or a half base plate, half of a crossroad out of the right side. Now that will just slot underneath the adjacent table because it's a different height, so you won't be able to see that. The reason why that's there is because I wanted to use the most available base plates I had, the most useless elsewhere, so I wanted to use crossroads. Right, let's get this up in the Lego room. And after all that, it doesn't fit. The plate that sticks out over here does actually hit the table next to it, this table. It does go underneath, but it hits the table leg itself, so annoying. Best laid plans and all that. So I'm going to have to replace that 32 by 32 base plate with a 32 by 16 just so it doesn't overhang. So I'll have one less of these to play with in the rest of the city, but oh well, such is life. Right, I've got that changed over now and it fits, as you can see, and it's looking pretty good. Already we've got the seamless continuation of buildings between the fort and the Crook hideout, Carl's Cargo, over here. And pretty soon we'll have more buildings all along the back line there and down this side. And a good thing about this building along the front is it's very see-through. It's got large gaps, so it's not really a solid building. And obviously it's got the play features, and we can have a boat moored up right in front of it, unloading. While we're here, we better check the train fits with this new wall. It fits. Brilliant, really happy. So I think I'm going to call it a day there. It's been a lot of progress, and we'll have to do more progress in the next Harbour update. So as always, thanks for watching. Do remember to like, comment and subscribe for more awesome LEGO videos. Next city update, I think we'll continue with the harbour because of the success we've had today. But in the meantime, we'll probably also do another brick haul just to get through that backlog. So until next time, see you!